Hi, everyone. How are you doing? Hey, are you always looking for things? Are you wasting your time as a business owner looking for things? Or I don't know, let's just look at my office. Post-it notes everywhere of things I'm supposed to do. Is that really how you should be spending your time? Are you going to get any ROI on that? Are you looking for emails or reports that you can't find that you need to go over with a client? Is your online desk a mess as much as your physical desk? You guys, my to-do list is forever, and I'm always losing these post-it notes. There's got to be a better way to stay organized, right? Are you constantly worrying that you're forgetting something? If you are, stop right there, sit down, put your earbuds on, turn this program on, because we're going to be talking tonight about how to get organized once and for all. Hi, guys. I'm Mary Fain Brandt, CEO and founder of the LinkedIn Bakery, and this is Bite-Sized Tips for Busy Entrepreneurs. Tonight's episode, we have special guest, Melisa Celikel. She is a master of productivity, time management, and process improvement. She has a knack for digging deep with leadership teams to find their zone of genius, hone in on their mission and vision, set goals strategically, and move into increased profitability. Okay, Melisa, I'm ready for you to get me organized. Say hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. So I love being organized, and I really feel like I kind of am. But as you saw on the show, this is my downfall. I make lists like, oh, I got to do this today, or I've got to do this for that event. But I know we're going to get into that, and we're going to have some really great tips for everyone. And you guys, we're super excited for you to join us tonight. And we want this to be interactive. Melisa and I want to answer your questions live. But if you're watching the replay, do hashtag replay and let us know. Put your questions in, because Melisa and I promise that we're going to jump back over there and answer your questions and share some things in the links. And before we get started, you know, you all have a friend that needs to watch this show, whether it's personal or business. They can't find things. They're always late. They're always stressed out. They have a gazillion to-do lists, but they never get anything done. Hit that share button right down there and share it out. I know I have a couple friends that I think I'm going to send this episode to tomorrow and just say, hey, check this out. Maybe it'll help them. You guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you, Melisa, for taking time out of your busy day. I know exactly how busy you are. Melisa and I were chatting earlier, and this woman is busy. You have to be organized, right?
Of course, yeah. It's crazy running a business, working a full-time job, working out 6 days a week. It's a little nuts. I can't wait till I am married and have kids and try to see how that fits in too. So here we go.
You can have a whole new division of your company, you know, married with kids and still being organized and efficient. I could totally see that.
Yeah.
You guys know the drill here. Oh, hey, Dan. Dan Harris joined us. He's our videographer for LinkedIn Local San Diego. He says, what's wrong with sticky notes? Well, Dan, I'm going to say there's nothing wrong with them, but they're all over my office. And I'm always like, wait, I need this one. Wait, where'd that one go? Hugo joined us. He says, I love that you guys are doing a live with blue hearts for LinkedIn. Love. Thank you. Now, you guys, I might be looking over here to the side, because with these wonderful streaming technology, we can stream to multiple platforms. I'm going live on 5 platforms right now, but I can't see the comments. So I'm looking over here so I can check the comments on LinkedIn, and then I'll look over here to see if there's any comments on Facebook. Let me go over there, just so that you guys know I am not ignoring you guys. So before we dive in, Melisa, and wait, Hugo said sticky notes are awesome. Yay. So that's 3 for sticky notes tonight. I always like to let people know where I met my guests. And there's been a theme of where I've met my guests, especially for the month of January, because Hugo was my guest last time. And I met him online on LinkedIn. And surprise, surprise, or no surprise, I met Melisa online on LinkedIn. You guys, LinkedIn is the #1 professional business platform. It's where you can meet incredible people. And people always are like, well, Mary, I want to get on LinkedIn and I want a bunch of clients. I'm like, yes, I want that for you too. But what about partnerships? What about people you can collaborate with? Wait, I always do the finger the wrong way. What about people you can collaborate with? Guests for your Facebook shows, your LinkedIn live shows, your podcast, maybe to help write a chapter in your book. People that you're going to partner up with, and people who become ambassadors for a program that you're launching or something. I have a question over here. What are you using to go live on 5 platforms? That is a fabulous question. I'm using StreamYard tonight, and I will put a link in the comments below if you'd like to give it a try. It's the easiest platform ever to use. And you can bring multiple guests in, up to 6 at a time. One day I'm going to get 6 LinkedIn coaches on here, and we're just going to go to town. That's my dream live show right there. So Melisa, why don't you tell everyone, we were talking before the show, and your background is very interesting. And we were talking about how you've done this full circle. I'd love for you to share with the audience, like how you got started, what type of companies you were working for, and how you branched off into this business now.
Yeah, of course. So born and raised here in San Diego. I'm one of those rare unicorns that actually grew up here and under the sunny palm trees that we have. I got my degree in sociology. So my BA in sociology, graduated magna cum laude from Cal State San Marcos up in North County, and also got NLP certified shortly after that. Dove into a career in organizational development / human resources. So I was a human resources assistant for various companies for about 3 years. And then for the past 6 years, I've been in organizational development consulting. So the idea of going into businesses, strategically figuring out what's wrong, figuring out how to solve problems, change management, and working with the procurement, finance, HR teams just to get all the stakeholders on board to start moving the needle forward in these big companies. I worked for Fortune 500 companies for 4 years, I think. I worked for GE, Roche, Abbott, all kinds of crazy Fortune 500 companies. And then sort of burnt out of the corporate grind, started my own business called Let's Get You Organized. And then now I'm back in a consulting environment, but for startups and mid-sized companies with a management consulting firm. So
I love it.
Huge journey, but like you said, I kind of came full circle.
I love it. But why you kind of deviated, because you started your own business, you've always been in this organization, an organization culture. So I love that. Like you said, this is really your passion. This is what you were designed to do. Wherever you're doing it, this is what you should be doing, right?
Yep. And it's one of those things where I've honestly left and I said, well, I want to do social media management, or I want to do marketing, or maybe I'll just go work at a bar because bartenders tend to make a lot of money, right? I've honestly had these moments, and of course, you as a career coach, what that's like to go through those pivots or those sort of quarter life or midlife crises, right? Where you're like, what do I want to be when I grow up?
Right. I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. I don't like numbers and accounting. And then someone pivots. I've had someone who's like, I want to be an event planner. Okay. Do you have any experience? Like how, and it's not that it's not possible, but the funny thing is, if you're really good in something, usually that's what you're going to stick at. And I always tell my clients, it might not be the job that you're doing. It could be the organization that you're doing it at. Mm-hmm. And maybe you just need a change of environment.
Yep. And that's exactly where I found myself. When I left Roche, Genentech, I started my company, got sort of a 2-year break, with all those fun coffee dates in the middle of the day and trips to the beach and things like that. And it was honestly the break I needed to sort of revive my passion for this field.
See, that's great. And I think everyone needs breaks. I mean, I had a break when I started my company, when my mom was sick, and I was like, what am I going to do? How am I going to support myself? And this kind of came about, but my path is kind of similar to yours. I keep winding up doing a couple different things. So thank you for sharing. So I'm going to let our audience know what we're going to talk about, so you guys will want to stay tuned, because let me tell you, as a business owner, I don't think you can ever be too organized. And there's so many different tips, tricks, and tools out there that I feel that everyone has something to give to this. right? Everyone has something to give to the show that you can share that we could take away. So Hugo was talking about time management last time, and I know you're going to touch on that as well, but you probably have a little different viewpoint on that and some different tips that you can share with the audience. So the three things that we're going to talk about tonight that Melissa's going to share her expertise in is organization. So she's probably going to tell me to get rid of all my Post-it notes. And Dan, Hugo, I don't know, we might have to band together and fight and take our Post-it notes. Plus, I use colored ones to keep me organized. Minimalizing, and I put this in the event graphic. Like, I'd love to see Melissa's tips on this. So as a business owner, I think I minimize here. But, you know, I'm the person who buys stuff at Costco to make sure I have enough on hand. Like, everyone used to joke they're coming to my house if there was an earthquake, fire, or flood. So let's talk about that. I am in a season of minimizing and getting rid of things. And the third topic is productivity, aka time management. I'm going to call myself out. That would be why go down the Facebook rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Now, how do we avoid going down the Facebook rabbit hole? How do we focus on the tasks that have the ROI? So Melissa, let's dive right in and let's talk about organizing as a small bit. So you work with small business owners and startups, and that's great. That's a lot of my clientele and my audience. So talk to us about how do you get organized in your, you know, as a new business?
Yeah. So just for starters, basically the idea of decluttering, downsizing, minimizing. Decluttering is the idea of clearing space to make room for new opportunities. So our stuff weighs us down. If you think of where you live, or you think of your home office, or even the office that you work at, everything that's in there has energy. So stuff has energy. It's the idea that everything that you fill your space with can either weigh it down and make it feel really heavy and like stressful. Have you ever walked into your garage and maybe not been able to park a car in there? And
I don't walk in the garage. I make my husband.
You get stressed out or you cringe.
Yeah, because even though we have tubs and everything, and I like color tubs, like Christmas is in green, Halloween's in orange, Easter's in blue. Like, I'm like the color code freak over here. All my files, like client files, are like, look, you guys. So
yeah.
White, right? So they're all like different colors, blue, but they're all for different things. But you know what? I just want to reiterate what you said. It just resonated with me. Clearing space to make room for new opportunities. That's really powerful if you think about it, because our stuff does weigh us down.
Yep. So it's the idea that if you're filling your space, maybe to fill an emotional void, we've all known shopaholics. We've all known people that tend to keep things out of sentimentality. So, you know, they hold on to all of their old yearbooks, their old photos.
Birthday cards.
Yeah, birthday cards, boxes and boxes and boxes of old photos that are not in, you know, acid-free photo boxes or photo containers, so that they're actually, you're telling me, oh, I actually care about all of these photos, but you clearly don't, because they're sitting collecting mildew and rat poop and cobwebs in your garage, you know? Okay. And so it's the idea of A, decluttering so that you can make room for new opportunities. B, stop living in the some days and what ifs. What if I need to go look back at my yearbook from, you know, 1952 someday?
Hey, I had to use mine for my reunion like 10 years ago. Of course, now it's sitting in the garage.
I threw mine away a long time ago just because I've moved 19 times in my life. So I was sick of just lugging these big, heavy boxes everywhere. But yeah, getting rid of the stuff that just no longer serves you. You're never going to use it. Do you really need your wedding dress from maybe a past marriage that failed? Or do you really need, you know, all the little things that you bought at your last job that you didn't even really like? You know, there's so much that we hold on to out of the sentimentality of it. So stop living in those some days and what if, and then
what ifs or some. I'm writing these down because you guys know that we try to take a couple powerful quotes from each show and reshare those. So that this stuff is resonating with me, maybe because I'm guilty.
Yeah. And it's not a one size fits all. I always joke, I'm not like the dictator of decluttering. Like this is, custom fit to your life. So even if you can just take away a couple gold nuggets, like, ooh, that's, that landed, right? That's my goal. And so the third tip is basically just the idea of decluttering 20 minutes a day. So I relate it to going to the gym, hiring a personal trainer. If I were to hire a personal trainer and say, hey, bud, I want to be a bodybuilder next week. Well, guess what? That's probably not realistic and that's probably not going to happen. But what it is going to take is the lifestyle change. So whether that's 30 minutes a day in the gym or an hour a day in the gym, depending what my goals are, I have to exercise that muscle and train myself to get to the level I want to get to. So decluttering doesn't just like happen overnight. Like I'm just going to go do the garage this weekend. And then in 5 years, it's back to where it was. Right.
We've cleaned our garage out several times.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
A muscle that we have to exercise.
Yeah. So that's personally how we can organize. Do you have tips like when you work with business owners? Mm-hmm. Like how to organize, like I'm looking around you guys right now to my desk and I'm like, Melisa would probably be like, what the heck is going on? Look at this. It's Post-it note hell.
Yeah. And again, it's however you want to get organized. I am a list maker. I'm pretty old school. I'll make a to-do list where I actually write things down. I also do use OneNote. I use Evernote. I have a Google Calendar that I keep everything in. So I'm not a paper planner type person, but some people are. So it's finding what works for you. Oh, I used a planner. That didn't work. Great. Try G-Cal.
Wait. Okay. So because we're talking about organizing and because you guys know I like to call me out on stuff, I have not one, two, like $100 planners.
Yeah.
You know what doesn't work for me? Planners. They're pretty. So these you're telling me I should just throw away. I've spent $100, but I didn't use them for more than a month. Give them away?
Yeah. Give them away. Yeah, don't throw them away.
So cute. See, look, I just keep them and I'm like looking at them right now like I got to give these away, but they're taking up space over here where I could put something else that I could really use. Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm looking at them right now. I'm like, and I have 2 more planners behind me.
Give them away now before it's too late. Like we're still in January, right, at the time of this recording. So, at that point, if you're to gift this away in 3 months, nobody's really going to want to use it or adopt that planning system. So
let me burst your bubble because these are old. Wait a minute. So I should just throw them away right now. Because they're old. I can't even use them.
Yeah. If they're from years past, definitely.
It's going in the trash. Just like that.
So it's figuring out what works for you. If a Google Calendar works better for you and you're not a paper planner person, don't get down on yourself. Oh, I don't have the prettiest new planner. Fine. Use your color coding in your Google Calendar.
My Google Calendar is very color coded. Let me tell you, my husband and I have a joint calendar. I have my business calendar with 5 different sections, consultation calls, client coaching sessions, networking, all broken down, and then my personal. So obviously, why am I fighting what I'm good at?
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. And it's the same with the sticky notes. I'm not going to get down on you for writing the sticky notes. If it's working, it's working. I hate sticky notes and I don't use sticky notes, but I do make a to-do list of my tasks every single morning. And the tasks that I put on there are the ones that are actually moving the needle forward and not the fluffy stuff that I really don't need to be doing.
Okay. I like that. So as a business owner, make that to-do list every day with the tasks that are moving the needle forward and probably tackle those whenever a good time is for you. Because a lot of people say tackle it first thing in the morning. My husband will tell you that my brain is not functioning first thing in the morning. So I shouldn't try to write a proposal, right? Mm-hmm. But, afternoon, evening is probably more peak for me.
Yep. Yep. So, and knowing where those peak zone of productivity hours lie. So if some people it's in, 11 o'clock at night. Some people, it's 5 a.m. in the morning. There's that 4 or 5 a.m. crowd. Or there's that old saying, eat the frog first thing, right? Yeah. But some people, that doesn't work for them.
My brain is not functioning before 8 o'clock. I'm up and I'm already doing stuff, but to do that frog task, no.
Yep. And for me, that is my peak productivity. So if you want me to get, like right now it's 7 p.m. Pacific, I've had a day. I've been up since 5 a.m. I've spoken with clients. I've had a full day at work. I've had a full day in my business.
You had a lunch and learn, right?
Yep, I did a lunch and learn today for 30 people. I went to the gym, and so for me, this is really using my brain, Mary.
Well, I'm impressed. You're doing a fabulous job. Keep it up. See, you're stretching yourself. Okay, so we're talking about being organized in your personal life because let's be real, you guys. You have to be organized in both, right? Personal, professional, personal, your company, whatever position you're in, whatever your career is, whether you're working full time or you have a business or you're doing both, like some of us, you've got to be organized in your personal life and your business life. So getting rid of stuff that no longer serves you so you can make room for new opportunities, that is hitting home with me. I'm throwing away the planners that I've kept for 3 years.
Yay.
And then knowing the time, peak time when you're productive. And then what you also said was, I just forgot what you said. What you also said was,
using the tools that work for you, knowing what your style is, and then also making sure that you are aligning with what's actually going to move the needle forward.
Yeah, moving the needle forward. And so get off the Facebook rabbit hole, right? Like at least I have to go on there because I have groups and business pages, but I don't have to sit and scroll for 10 minutes.
Yep. And what I recently did, so I built the majority of my business through social media. So whether that's LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, I have all the things, Pinterest, and I had quite a big following on all the things. But it was more of the vanity metric. So it was people that started following me 2 years ago. My business has pivoted and changed since then. Weird strangers that you're like, why are you following me?
Right.
Like, I hope this isn't like a weird thing. I went through just recently and purged 4,000 followers on Instagram. For that reason. And I deleted all of the apps for LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, deleted the apps and said, you know what, when I'm on my computer, I can feel free to open the desktop app. It's been.
So you don't check Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn off your phone.
It's a waste of friggin' time for me.
Right. But that's huge. But it can work for some people. I think I'm making a decision in 2020 not to be on so many social media platforms.
Mm-hmm. Pick the ones that are giving you a return on investment. So
LinkedIn and Facebook, a little bit Instagram. I'm on Twitter, but I don't tweet. Everything's automated. But you know what? That can lead us into automation. Let's talk about automation and how that can help you get organized and save time so you actually can work on those tasks for the ROI.
Yep, for sure. So I use Toggl, which is a time tracking app. So that's Toggl. I know that you had mentioned we'll pop that into the comments at the end of the show. But Toggl is a good time tracking app if you're a freelancer and you're working on time-based tasks for clients. So say you're a social media manager, or you're a graphic designer, or you're a photographer, videographer that does a lot of editing, things like that, where you can actually track your time, know where it's going, and you time yourself, and you can then attach each timer to the task and to the client and to the project and so on and so forth. You can get as granular as you want so that you know where your actual hard-earned hours are going. And that's usually when I've had clients have the light bulb moment of, holy cow, I need to actually raise my prices because I'm actually spending so much time on this, this, and this that the client isn't even seeing that value that I'm bringing behind the scenes. So Toggl, definitely one to start tracking your time. Second one that I mentioned was GCal, so automating your calendar. You mentioned color coding. I do the same thing, having green for networking, yellow for gym and lunch and other just personal basic things. Purple are client meetings. Blue are strategic planning, like my own type of rocks and pebbles in my jar of the day. So GCal, Toggl, and then the third that I'll mention is having some sort of project management software. So Trello, Asana. I've had people that use a CRM called Honeybook that also do that. So yeah, 3 quick trips.
I love it.
Quick.
Trello. I love Trello. That's what I've been using for the last couple years. But my business efficiency coach, Evie, if you're watching, so she got me using, I'm using Airtable for social media.
Oh, cool.
And I use that with my virtual assistant who schedules all that stuff. I write it, you guys, but she goes in and makes it pretty and makes the graphics. I write most of it. And then Dubsado is what I'm using for contracts and invoice. We're still learning that one, but it is nice seeing that built up and I can put all my packages in there.
Yeah, and that's more of a CRM. So that's less of a project management tool, but a CRM, so a customer relationship management database, is also super helpful to automate.
I'm just starting that one. So I'm like still learning it. And then the other one that is really the project management one is ClickUp. I don't know if you've heard of ClickUp. It's the free version. So I really like Trello because it's free. So those that that know me, I hate paying monthly memberships. Like, give me a lifetime deal or some great deal, but monthly memberships just kill me as a solopreneur. And so Trello is great because it's free to start and it has a lot of functions. So if you're just getting started, I love Trello and I suggest it to a lot of people to get started on.
Yep. And you can also, the free version of Trello is pretty robust. You can actually share it with other team members. So say you do have a VA and you want to assign tasks to the VA or create new boards for new tasks that are coming up each quarter. It has honestly most of the capability of the paid version, and so does Asana, which either of those two for me have been game changers.
Yeah, I tried Asana, it wasn't for me. That's the other thing, you guys. We're going to throw out all different kinds of apps and programs you can use. I really suggest that it might seem counterintuitive to try a few because you're going to be wasting your time. But I think you have to waste some time to find the right one that you can use and grow with so that you keep using it. So like Asana, and there's like Monday, and there's a couple other ones, and like those just didn't really work for me. But Trello I could get down and I could figure it out quickly. And then ClickUp, I'm starting to use more and more along with Airtable. So I think you you've got to play with them.
Yep. And again, just like the decluttering tips I gave, it's not a one size fits all. It's finding what works for you, and that's going to be sustainable for you and grow with you, and not just be something like, oh yeah, I got that random membership for Calendly or GCal or this or that, and it's just sitting on your shelf. Like,
it doesn't do any good if you have a program and you're not using it, or if you every year you buy a pretty planner because look, and so the adventure begins, and because it's cool. If you're not using it, it's not cool. It's a waste of money. And I think I've spent like $300 on planners. I'm a Google Calendar girl and a Trello board, and now ClickUp. and Post-it notes.
Yeah, know what works for you.
Okay, so you guys, that's talking about organization, a little automation. Is there anything else that you can talk to the business owners about automating that might be helpful for them?
I mean, I think it's just, I think Hugo probably touched on the rocks and pebbles and sand example where, you start your day every single day with an empty container, and it's up to you how you fill your day. And so whatever you need to automate, whatever's a sandy activity that can really just fill in wherever, whether that's social media, attending events that don't have a return on investment, hanging out with what I call fluffy people that are just like coffee brain pickers. Can I get coffee?
No. When someone says, can I pick your brain? So I got this from Felina Hansen. This is what she says. She's like, that sounds really painful. I love that. I'm like, and then somebody else online that pick your brain. So as a entrepreneur, solopreneur, when you get started, once you've made it, or when you've become knowledgeable and credible, then a lot of people like, oh, hey, can I jump on a call with you? I have a quick question. And they really want to ask you not about your services. They want to ask you they ask definite questions to get the answers that they should be paying for.
Right.
And that's not a return on investment, you guys, right? That is something that you have to learn to stop early on. And my suggestion to anyone out there starting is to create I got this from someone else. I was like, oh my gosh, how do you get all those people not to like, hey, I just want to jump on a quick call with you? You say, yeah, you can book 15 minutes. She actually sells 15 minutes of her time. You can buy 15-minute increments. And I did a 30-minute session. So you don't want to buy a full session with me. You can buy 30 minutes and you can pick my brain for 30 minutes.
Yep, that's exactly what I have. I have a 60-minute call on my Calendly and it's $67. So if you want to chat and you want to pick my brain about business strategy, all the tips and tricks, how did I grow my business, where did I start, I will give it to you, all of it, but you got to pay.
Yeah, I agree. So that's a tip that we both agree on for your ROI, you business owners out there. Mm-hmm. So we talked about organizing. We talked a little bit about automating. Minimalizing. Is there anything else to add about minimizing? I don't know if we really talked about all.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about minimalism. So just the quick overview is it's definitely a trending topic. There's the minimalist podcast. There's the minimalist documentary. There's the Marie Kondo movement of, sparking joy and getting rid of things and decluttering. There's minimalist clothing brands that, only come in gray, black, and white. There's capsule wardrobes like we see Mark Zuckerberg and Barack Obama and Steve Jobs, where they kind of wear the same thing every day. That's another form of minimalism. It really is trending right now here in 2020. And the reason for that is way back when in American culture, when we had the Great Depression, that was a very constricted time, a restricted time. So when, you went to the store and you got a container of margarine, you would use that container after you finished the margarine, right? Maybe your dad would take it out to the shed and say, oh, I can keep nuts and bolts and screws in this and we can reuse it. It was a time of saving, right? There wasn't a lot of wealth and abundance and all that good stuff in the world. So the Great Depressioners had children who are the baby boomers, and then the baby boomers now are pretty much empty nesters. So when the baby boomers had kids, and they've left now and have their own children and families, baby boomers are looking around like, oh my gosh, what is this whole house full of crap that I don't even know what's in these boxes and I don't even know what this stuff is. So that's why minimalism now is this like wake up call for Americans of it's time to downsize and declutter and simplify. And no longer are we in this state of, oh my gosh, we have to hold on to every single thing that enters our home, whether it's junk mail or old memories or boxes of Beanie Babies. I've seen it all in my work in the homes of my clients too. So basically, minimalism isn't going away. We're in this more sustainable time. It is eco-friendly. It's the idea of not over shopping, not living in the Sundays and what ifs, and not filling our houses with stuff that's just going to weigh down the energy.
I had Beanie Babies because my grandma gave them to me and I got rid of all but one, the last one that she gave me. So I kept one because I am that sentimental person. So it's been really tough.
Yeah.
When I lost my grandma over 10 years ago, and then I lost my mom in 2016. And I was very proud of myself. She had a lot of antique furniture stuff. I'm like, no, it's not my style, not my style.
Me, baby. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So I kept a desk that she refinished, which I already had. And I kind of went through her stuff. And there's probably, my brother has that box of photos that you talk about, but they're like the old photos and we need to sit and go through them. And I don't think that we were in the right place to do that before. I feel like now I am. It's been almost 4 years. So I feel like I'm in a better place where I can go through that stuff. Yeah, that's hard.
And a quick tip on that too is Costco, speaking of Costco, will actually turn them digital for you. So they'll put them onto a disc, they'll put them onto a USB drive, however you want the file. So that way you can still keep them, but maybe in like a smaller box or a more contained box that's again acid free. But it's, it's the idea of honoring it, right? It is painful to go through stuff. Stuff has energy, as I mentioned, and especially sentimental stuff. So it's taking the time whenever you're ready. And then if you want to digitize it, going up to Costco or another service.
And I've done that with all my other photos because I still am such a big photo taker, but now it's all on my phone. So there's a post coming out Saturday, you guys. Dump, delete, delegate type post. It's so funny. January is all about organizing and getting yourself set up for success, because you can't have a successful year if you're really unorganized and always looking for things, always out of time, not spending your time where you should be. So We are actually in the process of minimizing what we have, my husband and I. Most people know this, that we plan on moving. I don't know when, 3 years, probably to Arizona. So and it takes me a while. Like I have to okay, it's going to be a big move. I'm leaving San Diego where I've been my entire life. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to start getting rid of stuff now, honey. So it's not so traumatic.
Yeah.
Like I have a 3-year plan. That's crazy, but that's how I process it. So we have all these empty tubs in our garage because I'm like, don't throw those away. I need those for when we're going to move.
Yeah.
So,
or even just to organize, just to make what I always tell people is make your keep pile, your toss pile, your recycle pile, consignment, sell, return, garage sale. There's so many different categories of your stuff.
Ours is going to be dump and donate.
Yeah.
Dump, donate, and it goes. I'm like,
and it goes good for the donations too, so that you don't have to rent a truck or take a million trips down to Goodwill. Is www.pickupplease.org, and it's veteran-owned business, and they have trucks that deploy all around San Diego. If you're watching this,
that's fabulous. I love supporting the veteran military community. So after the show, Melissa, if you want to dump that link in the show notes, that would be fabulous, because I'm all about supporting our military. So I will
pick it up and use their muscles and just take it away. So
I love it. My husband will be happy to hear that too. I'm always like, load up the car. Those 5 bags gotta go. I think that we're seeing that trend to minimize. We have tiny houses now. That's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I could never live in a tiny house. It's too tiny, but it's a thing.
Yeah, I lived in 125 square foot studio down in OB.
Wait.
It's like a room. It's like a 10 by 10 room, basically.
Did you have any type of kitchen in there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. I had a full stove, microwave, a fridge, but it was not a mini fridge, but like a half fridge. It was interesting. It was on the beach. It was beautiful. It was over on Sunset Cliffs. Right. But I think I only lasted there for like a year, and I was like, okay, I'm out.
That's minimizing.
Yes.
To the extreme.
Mm-hmm.
What else can we minimize, like in our businesses as a business owner? Are there other things that we should be considering? Yep.
Yeah, I mean, cutting out, kind of just to mention again, cutting out the platforms that aren't serving you. So I stopped posting on Pinterest a long time ago. Yeah. It wasn't getting me anywhere. Same with Twitter for me and my business. I did get tons of clients from Instagram. So obviously that's still going to stay there. But my amount of time checking it was like incessant checking. I'm on a stoplight. I'm here. I'm in between calls. I'm standing in line at the grocery store. I'm ordering my food. The amount of times that I opened those apps was probably like mind-boggling. And I think a lot of us do that. So cutting that out, cutting out the fluffy, the coffee brain pickers, right? Charge them if they want to pick your brain. And minimizing your calendar obligations. So I think the power of saying no, a lot of times we say, well, I have to go to that event because I always go to that event every month, or I have to do this baby shower, bridal shower, whatever it is, event. And it just clutters up our calendars.
I have to agree with that. Speaking of events, as from a business owner perspective, when I first started, I was networking to get my name out there, see what was going on, practice my pitch, right? Mm-hmm. But after 2 years, I was tired of networking, and there was no ROI, very, very little, and people wanted to pick my brain. So I think a great tip for people out there in the business world, and I think a lot of my colleagues right now, we're all going through that. Nope, that networking event's not the right event for me. There's no ROI. That's like speaking for free. I'm like, speaking at small networking events, I've paid my dues. I've done that. There's no ROI for me.
Yep.
So I no longer do that because it doesn't serve me.
And it's finding, here in San Diego, it's amazing that we don't live, in BFE, but we, can literally go to 2 events every day for the rest of time if we wanted to. So it's figuring out on the, trend of minimalism, minimizing what do I actually want to do? Okay, this is that one event. I want to go to LinkedIn Live. I want to go to Joe Schmo's whatever youngpreneurs network or whatever it's called. But which are the ones where you actually met quality people? Maybe they became a lead in your business, or maybe they became a referral partner or a strategic source for you. And it, people joke with me. They're like, well, isn't that just like using people, or isn't that just like, being out and being selfish? And I'm like, as a business owner, talk is cheap, right? And if you're going to be spending 2-3 hours commuting to an event, getting ready for an event, being at the event, driving home from the event, sometimes it's a 5-hour process. And ask yourself, what could I be doing with those 5 hours in my business instead?
Absolutely. Yeah. I've cut down way down on networking events. So that's a really good tip, how to minimize on networking. Is there anything else on minimizing? God, that was a lot. We're gonna have to go back and put some notes, comments. Okay. I'm trying to comment and stuff, but we're definitely going to have to go back and do some more commenting.
Yeah.
So then the third one is productivity and time management. So that kind of just ties it all together for us. I'm going to let you talk about how to do that.
So we talked about systems automation. Definitely want to dive into more of the business productivity hacks. So specifically the 80-20 rule. So the idea that 20% of your actions produce 80% of your results. So again, with your example of maybe not so much being on Twitter anymore, or whatever platform it is, that is Snapchat or whatever.
Oh, I never even got on that one.
Mm-hmm. And it's knowing, okay, 20% of my leads in my business are coming from
LinkedIn,
right? And that's your main bucket. So all of the time that you're putting into LinkedIn, you're able to see that return on investment. Where if you're putting all this time wasting on Twitter, then you're not seeing a return on that investment. So what I always tell people is get out a piece of paper or your journal or your notes app or whatever you use and do one column of tasks that you do as a business owner every single day. And then look at your wins that you've had recently. So you got a new client, you got a paid speaking gig, you got on that amazing new podcast that you know is going to give you publicity. Whatever those wins are, it's drawing the line of, oh, that task, creating my media kit, produced that speaking, or pitching and creating a pitch deck that's awesome and going onto LinkedIn and pitching, 50 new investors, that got me this great new deal. But it's knowing what's moving the needle forward. Is sitting on your Instagram scrolling doing good for your business? Probably not. No. So figuring out the 28 or the 80-20.
I love that. So we're definitely going to have to do a little mini recap on that and put that in the comments about the 80-20 rule. And as you were saying all that, I was like, LinkedIn. I was like, Instagram maybe is getting me, I think moving forward, that would be something, but LinkedIn is where I get 80% of my clients from, obviously.
Yeah.
And build my credibility and visibility. So that's definitely where I should be spending my time, not scrolling on Instagram. And putting together, polishing up my media kit. We're actually in the process of vamping up that on my website and stuff. And I was just put a post out about being on this amazing online summit. So that's where my time should be spent. Online summits and LinkedIn. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is a personal audit for me, you guys. Just kidding. I like the 80-20 rule. Anything else that we need to talk about with the productivity and time management tips that you actually use or you've seen your clients use that have paid off?
I think just really, using Toggle, tracking your time, using GCal, being aware of your calendar obligations, using a project management software, getting yourself a CRM. As far as accounting and like mileage go, if you are visiting clients around town, I recommend Mile IQ. Basically, I just turn the app on my phone, I do my drive, I categorize it, and I turn off the app. With QuickBooks, I use QuickBooks for small business, and it's attached directly to my business checking and business savings and business credit line. And then I just go in there and I literally swipe and I say, that was a meal, that was entertainment, that was education, that was software, whatever the charge was. Now I'm going through my taxes with my tax accountant, and it's like the easiest year ever because I have that all organized.
Yeah. It's about being organized, which makes you more efficient, which leads to more time and opportunities to make more money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Be productive, profitably productive is what I call
I
it.
like it. Yep. Yeah. Let's all be profitably productive in 2020. Let's all take a look at the post that I'm just putting out on Saturday. I just queued it up. It's just going to tie in with everything that we talked about tonight and what Hugo talked about with productivity, and that we all have the same 24 hours. It's just how we use them. And some things resonated with his talk as well. It's like, I choose to watch Netflix 1 hour a night. That's my choice, you know, and that's how I wind down. Otherwise, my brain would never turn off.
Yep.
So, well, this has been really informative. A lot of fun to have you on the show. Thank you so much. And definitely going to have to do like turn this into a blog and share it, because there's so many valuable tips. And I know that if we're more efficient, more organized, and watch our time, that we can have more successful businesses quicker.
Definitely.
So, yeah, so we'll have to talk more offline, because this was great. And you guys, before I wrap up, normally, you know what, I'm a business owner. Normally I'm plugging like my job seeker course, my entrepreneurs course, but tonight I've got something really special that I want to share with you guys. I'm one of the co-hosts for LinkedIn Local San Diego, and with my co-host Mary Rose Solis, we are hosting the first event of the year, and this is like no other event we have put on. I'm not kidding. We have over 70 people coming to our event already on January 30th from 6 to 8:30 p.m. And this event is all about inspiring you to have the best year ever. We have a panel of 5 amazing women business owners. We have Sylvia Ma, who's going to be our moderator. Everything is being sponsored by women. This event is for women, but we do have men coming too to support us. We do have a couple male sponsors that kicked in at the last minute. We're so excited for all the opportunities that we're going to be sharing. Mary Rose and I have created these events because it's so important to take your online relationships offline and get to know people, right, Melisa?
Yeah,
right?
That's how we met.
That's how we met. And so it's really important. And so we still have room for about 25 people. And you guys, the best part about these events is that we donate to a nonprofit. Mary Rose and I, from day one, it's networking, yeah, but it's about offline to online and giving back to the community. So we showcase the venue, which is FEMX. We showcase amazing speakers, sponsors, and we're giving back a percentage of the ticket sales to Shine San Diego, who helps women get out of trafficking. So we always pick a different nonprofit because we want to share, we want to spread the wealth and the joy. And a representative will be there that night to tell us more about Shine San Diego and how you can get involved. And you guys, if you can't go, I get it. Because like you said, Melisa, there are 2 events every night you can go to. Buy a ticket for someone, donate a ticket. I saw someone in the San Diego Entrepreneur Group. She has like 2 tickets she's raffling off. What a great idea, right? Yeah. And still, if you don't want to do that, you know what? On the Eventbrite link, which I'll put in, we actually have a link where you can donate straight to Shine. So we really want to give back. So I hope to see you there. And if you do come, make sure you come up to me and take a selfie. That's what I'm known for. I'm in charge of prizes, speakers, and selfies. And I always write a recap about who I've met. So I'd love to feature you in that article. So that's January 30th, LinkedIn Local San Diego. You can find it on Eventbrite, and I'll post the link. And Melisa, it's been so much fun having you on. I've learned some things. I can't wait to do like a recap on this. And please go in and share the apps that you use. The 80-20 rule is great. Yeah. I think everyone needs to be reminded of that. So thank you so much. And you guys, stay tuned for the next bite-sized tips for busy entrepreneurs. It's coming February, and I have Alicia Shapiro, and we're going to be talking about how to simplify your social media. I think I'm on a roll this year, you guys. Simplify, automate, delegate, dump, and delete. That's what we're going with at the beginning of the year. Okay, you guys, have a great evening.
Bye.